Now to Bangladesh, where families are calling for justice a year after massive student-led protests and violent unrest resulted in former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina being removed from power. Last year, demonstrations against public sector job quotas boiled over into clashes with police. More than 1,400 people lost their lives in some of the worst violence to hit Bangladesh since it gained independence 50 years ago. After protesters surrounded Hasina's residence, she was forced to resign and fled across the border to India. DW went to Bangladesh's capital, Dhaka, to retrace the steps of one of those killed in the clashes.
Mir Dipto wants justice for his dead brother. He takes DW to the spot where he says a Bangladeshi police officer shot his brother Mir Mugdo during last year's anti-government protests. Dipto says he's pieced together what happened from eyewitnesses and videos from that day. This footage, taken by a protester, shows 25-year-old Mir Mugdo handing out bottles of water. Minutes later, he was killed.
From the straight of this road, so police came, left one body and made the shot, and when Mugdo was standing here, he just had the shot in his forehead.
Dipto says this CCTV footage shows his brother fall over after being shot. A crowd gathers to help Mugdo. They load him onto a rickshaw to go to hospital. But he was reportedly already dead. Videos of Mugdo's death went viral across Bangladesh. Yet, more than a year later, Dipto is still waiting for official answers. He's given his evidence to the country's top court, the International Crimes Tribunal, which is investigating cases of violence at the protests. He wants the court to charge the police who killed his brother.
We have given all these footages of this area. Each and every single camera footages we have collected. So there we can see who were the protesters, who did all the things, who were the witness and everything. So after giving all these things also, the charge sheet is still not completed. So which I can see as a big failure of the administration.
Dipto believes the former leader Sheikh Hasina bears responsibility for ordering the crackdown.
The previous regime, the Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, is solely first of all, she is the accused one. Then the administration under her, so who made it, who done all these things, so they are the accused one, and the system, so which made this happen.
Prosecutors allege that Hasina ordered the use of deadly violence. The International Crimes Tribunal has charged her with crimes against humanity. Hasina says the allegations against her are politically motivated. A trial has begun, even though she's living in exile in India. Bangladesh's interim government has asked for her extradition.
India hasn't said yes or no to the request. It only acknowledged receiving the request. The government kept pressing for it through diplomatic channels. We don't know whether India will take a stand in favour of justice or shelter a criminal.
Dipto, who often visits Mugdo's grave, believes Hasina's trial is one step towards accountability and says he'll honour his brother by finding out the truth.
Well, for more on this, we have DW reporter Binish Javed with us. She has extensively covered last year's uprising and also reported from Dhaka after the revolution. Binish, how important is the trial of Sheikh Hasina for the people of Bangladesh?
Terry, it is hugely important. Many victims of the uprising, of the police brutal crackdown, injured protesters and families of the victims who lost their loved ones because of police brutality, they hold the government of Sheikh Hasina and Sheikh Hasina as the former leader of the country responsible for ordering those killings. Now, the International Crimes Tribunal, Bangladesh top court, they say that they have enough evidence in terms of phone calls, CCTV footage, eyewitness testimonies. They say that all of this is evidence that proves that Hasina ordered those killings. Now, it's also, but we also have to understand it's also hugely symbolic because not many believe that Sheikh Hasina will return to Bangladesh because she could face death penalty. And India has shown no signs that they are willing to extradite her back to Bangladesh. Also, Sheikh Hasina herself has denied allegations that she was responsible for those killings. Her party has called the International Crimes Tribunal kangaroo court. So basically, they completely deny these allegations.
Now, Bangladesh has had an interim government in place for the better part of a year now. It's led by Muhammad Yunus. Has his government been able to meet the expectations of the people? Has it delivered on its promises?
So when this government was formed, the interim government of Muhammad Yunus, initially they had a lot of support and endorsement from people in Bangladesh. Over time, they have been criticized on being slow on the big reforms that they had promised for the country. They are also accused of the worsening law and order situation in the country. The interim government, though, has promised elections will be held next year, and they have worked on a framework document called July Charter. Now, this July Charter, they say, the interim government says, is a document that represents the wishes and aspirations of people of Bangladesh, especially after the uprising. It has clauses such as any prime minister cannot have more than 2 terms, the judiciary should be independent, the elections should be held under a caretaker government, so the incumbent government does not influence the election commission. This document has been signed by all major political parties, and Muhammad Yunus will present this July Charter today in Bangladesh.
Tell us about the political changes that have taken place in Bangladesh since Sheikh Hasina was removed from power.
The biggest change, I say, happened was that the students who led the protests, who were on the front line of the protests, they have formed their own political party. It's called National Citizens Party. We can see visuals on the screen. Now, they have some support from public, but they're still a fairly new party. And they say that the July Charter, the framework document, should be implemented before elections. Terry, another major political change, I would say, is that the party of Sheikh Hasina, Awami League, has been banned. Now, there is criticism from activists that say that because of some leaders, because of the acts of some leaders, the entire political party, which still has some support in Bangladesh, should not be completely banned. I would say the most major political party right now in Bangladesh is Bangladesh Nationalist Party. This is an old traditional rival of Hasina's Awami League party. They have also ruled Bangladesh for several years. Now, this political party says that the July Charter, and we see a party gathering as on our screen, this political party says that the July Charter should be implemented after elections through a legislative process. And this is where we see a difference of opinion and friction in the Bangladeshi political sphere of how Bangladesh will move forward and actually implement reforms and make the changes that the country so desperately needs.
Binish, thank you very much. DW reporter Binish Javed.